It's like they took Pickle Rick but made it fucking brutally extreme. Alright guys, welcome back to Phantom of the Indie Review. I'm your host, The Shining Dill. Last week we talked about Welcome to Derry episode 1 with that brutal finale, and let's just say that this second episode enhances the story further and kind of revels in a lot of dark history of Derry and a lot of the characters being traumatized by this figure of fear. This one had a lot of backstory focusing on Sergeant Leroy Hanlon, where we saw last week he got into a bit of a predicament with some dudes who broke in trying to get him to reveal some heavy government secrets, and it turns out that he is on a mission to figure out who these guys are, and he's a strong-willed, stubborn man, and he's trying to get to the bottom of it. He's like, I've been through some brutal shit in other countries, like, y'all white boys in Derry don't scare me. We get a lot of lore and unfoldings of the young girl that survived that theater massacre. Both the girls, the one whose father is the janitor of the theater who was accused of killing Maddie, and then the other girl who witnessed it all. And this story spent a lot of time building certain characters that you can't help but feel are going to be more prevalent. Most importantly, Sergeant Hanlon's son Will, who comes to the town after his dad already, got there. And they have this giant beautiful house, and he's nerdy, he's kind of smart, shy, and awkward, and he's the new kid in town, and he is slowly trying to meet and make friends. We get a little bit more of an introduction to the patty cake friend group, kind of like the bad girls, the mean girls of Derry, and most importantly, the character I wanted to talk about most specifically, which I think this is hella awesome in itself, is The Shining's very own Dick Halloran. That's right, a young Dick Halloran has a cameo in the show, and he seems to be playing a crucial role where he is in the military and he's higher up and he is trying to undig and find something in Derry. His, bosses are getting on his ass a little bit. They're like, your weird special little psychic ability isn't fooling anyone. You're just wasting time drinking, partying, reaping the benefits of being like renowned. And he's like, no, something brutal is happening in my bones. I can feel it. In this episode, though, it wasn't as intense and kind of jaw-dropping as the first one. This one does have some pretty brilliant, brutal scenes. One with the young girl whose dad is a janitor. She's laying in her room, grieving the fact that everyone in this town hates her dad and they think he's some kind of monster, and she's in her room looking at a picture of her mother who had passed away when she was newborn, and the spirit of Pennywise comes in and creates this crazy, brutal fantasy nightmare of her being pushed out of the womb. She's under the blanket and all of a sudden it starts to get red and frothy and wet and dark, and all of a sudden she's getting pushed up, wrapped around an umbilical cord as the mom is screaming, why did you do this to me? Why did you kill me? They're gonna kill your dad. They're gonna fry him. They're gonna murder him. And honestly, the sliminess, the ooziness, the creature was pretty creepy. The fucking whole vibe was haunting and genuinely terrifying. And I know I said this in episode 1, they are really kind of showing these new fears and taking them to a new extreme. They're not just being like, oh, you're afraid of zombies, here's a zombie. Like, this girl is tragically tormented by being birthed by her mother, and that's weighing heavy on her. And even the mom says, oh, I just wanted to hold my baby, but you had to kill me. And you're like, that's fucking dark and deep. And then the other main girl, these two kind of have a confliction because with all the trauma and all the issues of that theater incident, the only two people to see it were these two girls. Lily Bainbridge, her dad was brutally killed when she was younger. She was traumatized by that. Then she watched all her new friends get slaughtered inside of a theater. Although Ronnie didn't see it, she was there. And she has a history of mental illness. She was up at Juniper Hills, Juniper Pines, whatever, the mental institution. So they used that against her. They're like, hey, we know you said you technically didn't see Ronnie's dad there, but are you absolutely positive? Because they're about to send her there unless they get like an accusation, a case closed on someone, and they want to pin it on Ronnie's dad. And this causes a commotion between Ronnie and Lily. Again, the Dick Halloran character being introduced is very intricate and important. He's in the military, and that's tying together with Leroy Hanlon's character. And then more importantly, Leroy Hanlon's family, from Will and his wife, who the wife sees strange shit instantly. She's walking through the town, she's seeing all these adults behaving weird, kids bullying other kids and just letting it happen, and she's kind of like a loose cannon. And Hanlon says that in one part. He's like, every town we move to, you're kind of a problem. So that's kind of a restraint, being like, we're gonna hold her back. And obviously it's a plot device where where Leroy's not gonna believe her if she sees some crazy shit and weird shit happen. The one adult in town that's rational, because all these other parents are kind of jaded and oblivious to the fact that this creature has been coming around torturing Derry. Leroy's dealing with the military. All these, I'm really digging this military aspect of the story because it's kind of really different and unique. I feel like they took a bold approach, and I really feel like it's going to pay off to something very intricate. Like, at first I was like, oh, this is a weird turn, but I feel like with the writers of this one, they're going to do something great. And more importantly, the episode just wraps up together with kind of a good little ending where it reveals something kind of dark and mysterious that is tied together with Stephen King canon lore as it is. Oh, and not to mention the iconic pickle scene. Like I said, you're like, well, Pickle Rick, what does that mean? There's one scene where Lily's grocery shopping, and as the intercom is repeating and tormenting her and saying all these crazy shit, she gets blocked, barricaded into an aisle with all the jars of pickles from her company's, from her dad's company where her dad died. And let's just say there's a creepy, brutal reveal of her dad's face inside of a pickle jar. And honestly, it's pretty haunting. Again, like, that's a fucking crazy irrational fear and a crazy way to depict horror and trauma onto someone, and it was fucking awesome. But alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I got a new video coming out in just a couple days. I have a poll up on my channel that's going to close very soon. Go vote what video you want to see next. Please subscribe. Give me a thumb or hit that ding button harassing you, telling you, hey, it's me, I'm here. And I'm going to say it one time for the one time and two time for the O's. Give me a hell yeah for horror.
Every 27 years, something wakes up in Derry.
What up, y'all? Welcome back to Phantom of the Indie Review. I'm your host, Ratty. Today we're trying this new fucking Pepsi Chucky I found in the woods. Oh, look at that creepy little bastard. The seal didn't crack. That's peculiar. Ugh. What is that made of? Chucky's cock?